want to control Adrian's hips when I'm in side control, and I want to control, say, like his shoulders and around his head. So I can do this with a crossface. That's what we worked Thursday night, but this morning what we're going to do is we're just going to use a near side underhook instead. I'm just going to go near side underhook. All right, the problem is when we want to go into mount, Adrian's going to bring his right knee up towards my rib cage. He can put his foot on his opposite knee. A lot of times then when you try to bring your knee on your training partner's belly, that knee's just going to get closer to my body, and then we kind of lose it, maybe reguards and so on. So what we're going to do is when we have our near side underhook, tight waist, I take out the tight waist, I go palm facing down. It's kind of like I'm working a reverse collar tie. So hand goes to the hip, and then I get my elbow to his hip on the opposite side here. What I do then is I connect my right knee to my right elbow. So if Adrian, you can keep your knee up there, Adrian. So bring the elbow out, connect my knee to my elbow. I start to put my head to the floor and hand to the floor. Once this happens, I window wipe, and then we get our second underhook or crossface. So we do that again. So we have a near side underhook. Maybe we had a tight waist. We take it out. We want to move to the mount, so we go palm facing down, and I connect my elbow to Adrian's hip here. Once this happens, I connect my own knee to my elbow, so this kind of makes a small hole and allows me to get my knee through it. So my elbow's going to go first and my knee follows second. All right, so go one more time on that. So we're here, elbow goes to the hip, knee goes to the elbow, we slice. Head goes to the floor, we post. So I have a post on my right hand, post on my left foot. So if Adrian tries to bridge in any direction, I should be able to push back with either my hand or my foot. Knee touches the mat, we window wipe. We either take a crossface or second underhook and slide our knee up to our training partner's armpits. All right, so 3, 2, 1. We need something to control the line of the shoulders, so that can be a crossface or it can be a near side underhook. In the beginning, we had a tight waist, which controls the hips. Obviously when we want to transition, say using the knee to elbow, we have to take this elbow out here, right? Or this hand out so we can free our elbow up. You can see in the beginning when I'm controlling, my head is facing towards, like say, Adrian's head, but when I want to start to, like say, move into mount, I'm just going to slide my head and my hips and everything towards this direction here, because this is where we're working. So I'm going to stand up on my right foot, connect my knee to my elbow, I slide. All right, the trick here is to slide, bring your head across, but just before your head touches the mat, your hand posts on the mat so we don't get rolled. All right, so we put our knee on the floor, we window wipe, and we bring our knee up to our training partner's armpit. We can take an underhook or we can take a crossface. All right, so let's say Adrian's keeping his elbows nice and tight, so this elbow's tight, and I can't get the underhook. We're going to switch off to a crossface and underhook here. All right, so we're going to use this to threaten the head and arm. So if Adrian kind of keeps like a strong elbow, so if you don't ever get my head around, you see I'm trying to get the head and arm, trying to cover his mouth with my chest. One response that you get a lot of time when you slide into a high mount is your training partner is going to try to push down on your knee. All right, so if you think about it, when I'm in mount and I'm trying to move to a high mount, I'm trying to get my knees above his shoulders here. All right, so what Adrian's going to do is he's going to try to keep my knees down. Anytime you feel this, we can use this to get a second underhook. So my left hand that's on top, what I'm going to do is going to roll weight to that elbow and I cup his neck here. And I use this to punch to get a second underhook. And then we slide the knees up nice and high. I stand on my right foot. I go to the outside of my foot. I have two hands on his head. So what I'm going to do next is I want to stand up on my left foot and pin his head with my knee. Then I can let go of the grip around the head, and now I can switch to my armbar grip from here. We can finish up on top, or you can finish down on the floor. So what that does is it gets rid of that wild swing, and it creates a lot of pressure from that kind of S-mount position. So we're in mount, we have the crossface underhook, trying to set up the head and arm. We're not having any success, so we're covering, say, his nose and his mouth with our chest. We're trying to slide our knees up high. He's pushing my knee down low with the only arm that he has free. So if you try to push that knee down. So what I do is I free my right hand by rolling to my left elbow and cupping his neck. I punch a second underhook and I bring his elbows above his shoulders. Then I bring my knees above his shoulders. I stand and go to the outside of my foot. I lift his head, stand on the second leg. I pin his head with my knee. Once I get this, I let go of the head. I take the arm that I want to attack. I post, step my leg over, and then we can finish our armbar. All right, so 3, 2, 1. We have a crossface, underhook. We're trying to slide up to a high mount. Adrian's doing a good job of keeping his elbow on the outside of my ear, so I can't get like a head and arm. He's pushing down now on my knee. So what we did on the last one was we used our left hand to cup the neck and we punched an underhook here. All right, so we went with double unders. Another option, what we can do is when we catch his neck, is look to get the wrist and then just use a wrist pin. So pin his wrist to the mat here. We slide up high and then all you do is lift the head, step over the leg. Once this happens, I need to lock up a triangle. So the way I'm going to do this is I put the weight onto the ball of my knee and I post. This allows me to take my right foot off the floor so we can lock a triangle. You can grab your shin if you need to. The goal now is to try get the two knees as close as we can together. You can go with both hands on the mat, we back heel and we get our finish from here. So really strong submission and something that you definitely have in your game for mount top. When you're doing the S mount attack to armbar or you're setting up the mounted triangle, it's really important that you get your basically the line of your knees past the line of your training partner's shoulders. All right, so say for the double under one, if my knees don't go past the shoulders, I can't turn. Whereas my knees go past the shoulders, I can turn my hips. Same for the triangle. So on the triangle itself, say when we're here, I use a wrist pin. If I try to turn here, I can't. All right, so take that extra step. So bring your knee up. So my knee's now past the line of the shoulder, and it makes it a lot easier for me to get into these positions. Like a really obvious example would be, it's not a position, but I just want to show you. So say if I'm side on my Adrian and I try to turn my hips, I can't because there's a block there. As I bring my knees up, now I can turn. So that's what you want to do in mount. So again, we're here, having no success, we can't finish the head and arm. Adrian's pushing down on my knee, all right? So I move to my left, catch his neck, we can go underhook or we can go wrist pin. So we pin the wrist, we slide up higher, I lift the head, step this leg around. The goal here now is to get as much connection as you can with the hamstring on the neck. There's a weight on my feet, I need to get weight off my feet because I need to lock this triangle. So do we go to our right hand? We grab the shin, pull the leg up nice and tight, flex our toes or our feet, hands go to the floor, you can go one hand, two hands, up to you. I go a strong back heel, pinch my knees together, and we get the finish from here. All right, so 3, 2, 1.